Hello world, how are you? We have some Q&A to do. Hope you're doing fine, 'cause it's Q&A time again. Look at that little baby pencil fish in a Pleco. I can't remember which type of Pleco this is. If you guys know what Pleco this is, please let me know, because I would like to know. I got it off of Eric Bodrock, which if some of you guys know who Eric Bodrock is, he's got all kinds of rare ones. But if you guys know what that is, let me know. I know somebody's got to know. I've never been that great at keeping up with the Coriodoris numbers and the Pleco numbers. I'm just not the best at it. But hello, everybody in the chat. Glad to see you guys in here. Andy Ho says, poop. I'm glad to see you all in here. Welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A, where you can ask the community and I questions about keeping a freshwater aquarium fish, shrimp, and plants. And sorry I'm shaking you guys up here, getting you guys on my gimbal. The movie, I gotta balance you guys here. Hello, Indiana from Arizona. Hello. Hope all's good there. Oh man, I am just getting done eating dinner and have been out. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good spot. And been outside on a mini excavator all day working on the backyard, so that's been exciting. Which I plan on showing you guys all that here in the future. L333, same, possibly. That kind of sounds familiar. I feel like I got an L333 at some time. So that could be it. Exotic and Aquatics, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Exotic Aquatics says, hey brother, we are new to the shrimp breeding game and looking to offload a bunch of blue diamonds. Any tips for packaging and shipping process? So breather bags definitely go a long way. And I don't know, I heard that there's kind of a shortage going on breather bags too. So if you are getting into the fish shipping business or process, I would definitely look into breather bags and trying to figure that out, because if you put them in a regular bag with some air, then they slosh around in the shipping process, which could cause a lot of damage and stress to either fish or shrimp. And yeah, the best thing to do is use a breather bag. I usually throw a tiny little piece of guppy grass in there so they have something to hang on. They hardly ever hang on it though. They're usually just chilling out on the bag or whatnot. And then as far as packaging, which I have a video on how I do my whole process. It's really unorthodox. It's not a normal process like a lot of people use, but it's a way for me to recycle and use everyday products like plastic bags, grocery bags, stuffing that comes in from Amazon. I have my family and neighbors actually save all theirs up and we all pitch it back. That way we can recycle and reuse. Kind of helps the environment. So that's what I use for stuffing. And then the plastic bags, I just line the box up. That way, in case a bag did break, which hardly ever happens, I can't even remember the last time one has, it could catch the water. And as far as insulation, I use this like styrofoam kind of foam wrap roll stuff. And then heat packs, which you don't have to worry about now. Weather is getting nice. It's been great. I do like 96-hour heat packs. It's good to have the 96-hour, 72-hour, and 40-hour heat packs, because weather can be different in certain regions, and you can gauge and judge the transportation and the time of the heat needed. Hey, Level. But thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Exotics and Aquatics. DCFPV says, hey, Level, starting a Skittles tank. I have blue, reds, yellows, and other colors. Should I add? Or should I just wait to see all the colors have tons of babies? I mean, the more the merrier always, especially with different variants, but you should still be able to get some cool stuff off of just those 3 color combinations. Because hard telling what Well, it depends on where you got them too. Hard telling what they already are carrying genetically. Because they could be red, and they could have come from like a Blue Dream line and still carry all kinds of other different genetics. So that's really up to you, whether you want to add more or not. Thoughts of tiger barbs and cories? I don't see a problem with it as long as there's lots of coverage. Give the cories a nice rock base. Anytime you can do this with your tank, kind of got to keep you guys plugged in. My movie didn't have much battery. Took me forever to set up for you guys too. Whew, while we're here, let's see. Yes, so something like a rock island, little space for them to get away from. Say if this was a smaller tank, you know, that wouldn't look too bad. And then the cories can go in and out. If the tiger barbs were giving them trouble, they shouldn't give them trouble, too much trouble though. Because barbs are usually in the water just messing with whatever, and cory cats, they're always just chilling, grazing off the bottom. But I do have plenty of barbs in here with cory cats. So you can see they get along. As always too, more space you give them, the better off they're gonna be. Dana Harris, thank you so much for the huge $25 super chat. Wow, what are these guys? What are you? That looks like a pair too. Huh. I need to figure that out. But sorry, Dana, you know how it is with those rainbow fish. But it says, hey Lucas, I'm rocking some water changes listening to the legendary rainbow fish breeder, LRB. Well, that is awesome. Hope the water changes go smooth for you. Don't flood your floor. And thank you so much for the awesome support. I appreciate you. And I love that tank. Once again, I saw you sent me a video on the email. I haven't got a chance to read the whole email, but I will get to it at some point here. King Cunningham says, I have a weird color of Neos that are chocolate and yellow stripe. Any ideas on what I have? Chocolate and yellow stripes. I have seen those, and yes, that's a weird combination. That's one of those like imported farm combos from where they've mixed them. I've seen it before too. I'm not sure what actually causes it. It's really hard to tell, but I know they are neat. I have seen them. They are very rare. I'm currently mid-pizza eating. I actually had a little pizza. My dinner was fries, pizza, and a chili cheese dog. Yes, I'm spoiled. Any luck on breeding red whiptails? Not too much info out there on how to. So I've never bred any whiptails. Regina Spotty of Oddball Aquatics, Eric Bodrock's wife, she has bred a lot of whiptails. And she says that they can be really needy when you first raise them up. The hardest part is just rearing the babies, where she said she had to hand feed them like every hour or so. Something like crazy. Or you just need to give them a real natural tank where they can find stuff, if you ask me. In a sterile environment, I could see how that would be necessary. But if you have a nice, filthy, dirty environment, especially like when I was out digging that pond today, there's a little water that actually sits around. I don't know if you guys can see it. I may be able to just open this door and show you guys what I'm talking about. But this just expresses it more. Yeah, it's way too dark out there. But there's a spot where water's just sitting there, and there's just like tons of Daphnia, tons of little detritus worms, tubifex worms, all that live stuff fish love out in Mother Nature that we kind of deprive them from, because we want to keep all these sterile environments, you know. Oh man, this chair feels good. Whew. I'm sorry, you guys. It's been a long day. All right, let's see here. Do you have any plants for sale on your site? Stems and anything red is what I'm looking for. As far as red, I don't have a whole lot of red, like pinkish and stuff like that I have, but nothing as far as red, because red tends to like highlight. But I do have tons of plants. I have all kinds of other varieties of plants. Ton. Thank you, Candy Overhauls, for posting up my website. I appreciate you, Candy. Always great to see you in here. World's best mod. And once again, sorry if I'm missing questions. I got to just kind of pick them as I see them. Golden Moose, any tips for first-time Gardneri killifish owner besides a lid? Definitely a lid. That's a good one, Golden Moose. I know you're on the right track as long as you got a lid. And so they do prefer softer water to breed in. And peat moss. They love to grow in peat moss. This guy's kind of goofy just because of the genetics, but I do actually have regular Gardneri in here that naturally colonize with a rock there and some moss, and as long as I keep this water softer, they'll just keep on reproducing. And you are on top chat, Lucas. Yes, I am. Sorry. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. I hear my cat yelling at me. I'm gonna go let him in. Red fish and shrimp show up great against green plants. Yes, for sure. And that's another thing too. Always think about your color contrast when it comes to keeping aquariums. Color contrast will make things pop and look a lot cooler. Here's Sparky. What's up, Sparky boy? Meow. Let's see. Yes, we use the extra large granules. Well, not extra large. I think they're just regular. Are they extra large? Shoot, I don't know. I did try Fluval bug bites. I don't know if I told you guys that last Friday, but they were mucking up my water. Yeah, they are the XLs. Simply Beta. What's up? Long time no see. All right, flip you guys over here. Actually, no, let's look at the tanks. What am I thinking? Oh, yeah, representing for Portland. Shout out to all my fam in Portland. Scrolling. If you got the questions, now's the time, because I am towards the bottom. Have you started summer tubbing? So yeah, I never stopped summer tubbing. They're all up. I did a recent video on them, maybe like 4 or 5 videos back. I went live and showed you guys. I could do another update, but I guess I could throw that into the pond build update. There's just so much I could be videoing and whatnot. I just can't because I'm just trying to tie up so many little projects, like trying to get my desk complete over here, trying to get that backyard done, working on a special project for this, working on that, which you guys saw that last Friday, and I haven't even been able to touch that again. And then also trying to clear out my cabinets because I got a project up there I'm working on. But once I tie all these things in, it's going to be like boom, boom, done, 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 done. I'm going to be super happy, super happy. I can start focusing on just really maintaining. I got one more project I got to do too after that. Well, never mind. Projects never end, do they? Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? These orange shrimp are sick though. Check these guys out. I need to get those guys spread out. How long for the award-winning Fire Red Neos, Dustin James Becker? Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I don't know. Should be soon. Give them like 2 weeks. A lot of them are really small, so I haven't really been offering them. They have been getting bigger. I do have some bigger ones left. I've just got to be real careful not to over pull from them, and it's good to just give them a couple weeks break. That way they won't stop breeding on you. But thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate the support, brother. LRB, what do you do with your spare time? Everything. I fill it. I fill it with something. That's what I do with my spare time. I fill it. And if I do get like a moment's rest, best believe I enjoy it as much as I can. That's a good thing about working hard. It just makes relaxing and resting just that much sweeter. But, I mean, as far as hobbies, like even growing up as a kid, I pretty much got into everything. You name it, I've probably been on a league for it or something. See, that's the one thing though, like usually with the hobbies, like I'll jump in and out of them, but with this hobby, oh man, it's stuck big time. And there's some, I think it's because there's so many ways to do it, so many types of fish, so many types of plants, so many types of environments you could create. And I love to create, like just to do things with my hand, building, creating. It's like indefinitive, like it just will go forever. Infinite, I should say. Harvey, would I need to mulm up a 150-gallon new pond tub before adding fish? Yes. I mean, I would cycle it. So if you've already got a filter, mulm that puppy up. Because when you do mulm it up, like when you get that foamy, media, dirty, like sponge and squeeze it in there, like it'll look like muck. It'll look terrible for maybe a day, but the next day that stuff just settles right to the bottom, and then it'll get into your substrate, and then you got all that beneficial bacteria. And what it's doing is all the impurities and waste that get into your water, they help eat off of that, which all creates a natural cycle to make it healthy for your fish. I still cannot get these shellies out of here. I've been working on these for quite some time. Just as soon as I go for them into the plant, like I can't even move. Like I'm gonna have to move that driftwood. I really hate to, but if you guys saw my last video, you know what I'm talking about. Peppling Creek Aquatics says it's not a hobby, it's an addiction. Yeah, I can see that. Well, I mean, I guess it all depends on how you define it. Words can be just meant to label things, and I guess it all depends on how you want to label it. Really, it's a lifestyle at this point. That's what I would call it. Because really, I mean, lifestyle of taking care of fish. You gotta love doing water changes and stuff. Maintenance. New England Angler says the blue shrimp you sent last week all made it and looking good. Thanks for the extra one. Well, you're welcome. Thank you so much for the order and support. Glad to hear that you made it safe and you're giving them a good home. Yeah, simply better. You got to do summer tubbing. You haven't kept fish until you kept them outside. That's where it's at. Mother Nature for the win. All day long. All right, let's see. I guess we could scroll down here. Scroll down the tanks. Swipe right. Trying to get these guys mixed. You can't see this guy though. He's got like a bunch of blue on him. It'd be a weird mix. I think I'm gonna change it though to orange shrimp. I actually threw a big old transformation period in all these tanks. I guess we'll look at the breeding pair of dwarf neons. Jessica Spade says, I think I have an addiction to hobbies. LOL. Yeah, I can see that. We all have our vices. I watched your Tetra breeding using leaf litter video. Did that work well? Would you recommend that method? So, as far as in theory, it sounds great, and they will breed, but the problem comes to when you have to catch the fish out of there. And with all that leaf litter, they've got everywhere to hide, so you're pretty much stuck tearing down the whole tank. Oh, don't run. You're pretty much stuck tearing down the whole tank just to get them out of there. Ooh, I can't believe he hasn't ran yet. Caleb Cavall says, do shrimp handle a pH drop due to injected CO2 as well as fish? As long as I keep an eye on my KH and pH relationship with each should be okay. So it is really tricky. When it comes to that, it is best to use less and gradually build it up, but they don't tend to prefer the CO2 that much because I think I don't know if it is a pH swing or what, but I have found that if you do use pH, it's hard to really get them breeding a lot. So if breeding's not your main objective, then I wouldn't worry about it. But if you want to breed, then definitely. I need to sell these swordtails. I don't know. Any of you guys into swordtails? I was thinking about putting these on the site. I was like, I don't know if anybody even wants them. Let me know. Dr. Rev Ryan Rob Given says, have you ever thought about using capped PVC elbow tubes for your shellies? That way it's a lot easier to harvest your shellies and they will breed in the PVC elbows. So I have thought about that. Mike Helweg, that's what he does. And he says it makes it super easy to do it that way. But the problem is, I have all these natural tanks. And then I'm going to have a tank full of PVC pipe. I just don't think I could do that. So I guess it's the love of the game for me. The whole natural thing. Like, I battle with that so many times. Like, there's so many artificial ways you could breed fish and make traps and do this and do that. But you can do it naturally, too. Sometimes it can be a little harder to do it that way. But like the reason why I've got this pearlweed in here, this is a great setup for any rainbow fish, almost any breeding egg scattering fish. Because they can scatter eggs in here, they can scatter eggs up there, for I can live up there, for I can live down there. Now granted, they're going to eat their eggs and fry all day if they see them. But if you take them out, then play musical fish, then you'll get a ton of babies. I could pretty much breed anything doing it that way. But it's not a controlled like breed, so I'm not like pulling out spawning mops, I'm not pulling out traps to get like tons and tons of eggs. Now with my CPDs, I do that, which I kind of hide my artificial trap catch back here in the back. You can see there's a deli cup lid there, but you can't really see it within the scape. It's kind of hidden within it. Which there's Pilo moss in there, which absolutely loves low light. You can pretty much keep it in the dark. And they breed off in that, and then I'll collect the eggs. There's actually one where I'll transplant them out there. You can see how long it's been since I've done that. It's actually turned into a terrarium. Just because I haven't messed with it for so long. Let's see, scroll. Are you still going to be moving LRB Thirsty Rabbit tanks to you? So, we have changed the game plan on that. Since everything's all kind of weird right now. Oh man, fertilizer all over the tank. And yeah, I'm actually settling in. I've decided to hunker down, work on some big projects, and just dot some I's, cross some T's. That's why this is empty here. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to show and tell you guys what that is about. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. I talked about all these projects kind of earlier. But, yeah, I'm staying now. There's no point in me leaving at this point. Do you have guppy endlers? So I have guppies and endlers, yes. Can ember tetras go with shrimp, or would they eat the babies? They would eat baby shrimp, but if you put in rock piles for your shrimp to be safe and get away from the ember tetras, then you can get away with it. Or you can even do rock substrate like this. Like here's another natural tank. A lot of people don't think about a natural kind of style of a tank. You usually do like substrate, sand, or like eco complete. But here's just a rock substrate tank, and this is big rock. But you can do like Anubiuses, ferns, Brazilian pennywort, or you could float mosses. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can even float Retalias, pearlweed, all kinds of stuff. Guppy grass, like in here, same situation, but it's smaller rocks. So it's more like a riverbed. But then you still got like Subwassertang, Anubius, and like even if you kept shrimp and fish together, your shrimp are going to be able to go into the rocks to get away from your fish. So that's a good way to keep those types together. Or just like have a hide and driftwood or something like that. It's all about giving them coverage and space. But if you got egg scatters, these are awesome too, playing musical fish. There's actually baby CPDs and Lucipennis in here right now. Not many, Or, well, he ain't even a baby anymore. I think it's that one. The Lucipennis you hardly ever see because it's always hiding. But another thing, too, hard part about that is getting the fish out. But fish always get hungry. If you don't feed them, they'll come up to you. You just got to be nice and slow about getting them out of there. Okay, how do you clean rock substrate tank? So what I usually do, I'll scrape the sides, blah, 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 like you normally do. But I don't really gravel vac. What I'll do is I'll have the hose in my hand with the siphon, and then I'll kind of like swirl it around while it gets the mulm up and out a little bit. Like the beneficial mulm that's in there, you want to keep a lot of that in there because that's what helps balance your aquarium. That's what keeps it natural. So old food, fish waste, all that gets eaten up by that beneficial bacteria. This stuff is what's eating all the waste and all the breakdowns and excesses of things. This is the good stuff, which those guys are always kicking up and out of the sand bed here, and you can see how it kind of gets buried and layered because they're always kicking and moving the substrate. So, I mean, it's not like you're going for a deep clean. And then same thing with this, I would just get what's off of the top there. I wouldn't even... The Eco Complete, I actually do a little bit. I'll get like just the slightest bit into the top, just barely graze the top, just kind of clean what's off of there, because if I don't, I'll start getting like a little bit of algae. The algae will start eating off that mulm. That's all I do. That is all I do. Oh, that glare is terrible. I was hoping to get to sit here. Best size tank for breeding Tetras. Depends on what kind of Tetras. But if you're going for smaller Tetras, just a 10-gallon will suffice. 20 high or 20 long if you want to give them luxury. High Rise 97, thank you so much for the $14 super chat. Says, how do I get rid of planaria? Oh my God, just kidding. Have a great weekend, my brother. Oh, my brother. You had me there for a second. I was like, oh man, am I really gonna have to? That's hilarious. But have a great weekend too. Thank you so much for the support and the super chat. That's hilarious. All right. I know I saw another one, don't want to lose that. Igor Anonymous, thank you so much for the $4.20 super chat. It says, will comet feeder fish eat Neo shrimp? There's a strong chance, and if you're here when I was talking about the rocks as being a safety for them, I would do the same thing. Because comet goldfish, they constantly like to graze, but they're not really meant to be hunters. Shrimp are actually really fast, so shrimp have a good chance to get away from a feeder goldfish. But thank you so much for the support and super chat. And Thomas Glazer, my brother, the awesome support again, throwing up the peace sign. Thank you so much for the $20. You are too kind. You treat me so well. Thank you, Thomas. Also, what do you think of Eco Complete for black neon Tetras? You know, it depends on how you do it. I don't know if you're going to have bright light or low light so you get like contrast or whatnot. With this like really dark low light contrast. But you see, I'm still growing plants here. It almost looks like there's no light in there. But that would look pretty wild because you'd only see like their stripe from afar until you actually got in there. So that would look pretty neat. And as far as like breeding black neon Tetras, another thing about them, a lot of people think you need them in soft, super soft acidic water. I have bred these guys in hard water, in our tap water that's around 330 TDS. Those black neons, I bred them with rainbow fish. Can duckweed kill your water lettuce? I could see that because it could suffocate it out. Definitely. What do you do with your coal shrimp, LRB Aquatics? So my coal shrimp really are just a tank of mixed shrimp. So if I'm like going through my blues or my red colonies or something like that, I'll throw them all in one tank and then I just kind of let them all mix together and see what happens, which There's some really, really gnarly stuff going on in those colonies. Like some really cool stuff. And I've come across so many like mixes, like blue, green, orange shrimp, like weird triple color, tricolor types of neos and stuff. Like if people really wanted to put the time in it, there's a huge chance of opportunity for a lot of people to line up specific types or new types of shrimp. Like there's so many more types out there. I have to say I've probably seen like 30, 40 mutations that you don't see anywhere out of just mixing stuff together. But it does take a lot of time and a lot of effort to line that kind of stuff up. Unfortunately, with me, my collectoritis, I can't stay that focused. Oh, why's my pump not working? Let my girlfriend use this water for her garden. She tears my tank up. Jeez! I have to get her. I have to get her and tickle her. Your fire red shrimp are doing great. Great to hear, Gregor. Show us your mixed cold tank. It is on the other side of the fish room, which has terrible internet. And every time I go down there, it always shuts me down. So if you're still here towards the end, I'll try to remember to go down there. Is Eco Complete good for shrimp? So as far as my Neocaridinias, they love it. And it is great because it's lava rock. It's real porous, so it'll hold minerals. It'll hold beneficial bacteria from them. And shrimp really love a mature aquarium. So that's old, dirty, mature substrate full of beneficial bacteria. Shrimp love that. And it helps keep their environment stable. And Eco Complete helps with that big time. Like this stuff has been in here forever, and you can see like it's a solid mass. Like look at that. Like it looks funky, but it's good stuff. And obviously the fish and plants don't care. There's a Placo hiding there. What combo Neos would result in my chocolate with yellow stripes? They are bigger than my other. Really, I don't know. I mean, a golden back with a black rose? I really don't know. That would be my guess. And it's weird how that kind of stuff will work. I mean, it's just like a purple shrimp. You want to make a purple shrimp, you mix red and blue together. But like as far as like the green and blue and orange shrimp I have found, I have no idea what could have caused that. Like, to line that up would be hard to figure out where it came from. Unless you're like a geneticist. I had David Reed girlfriend here. You told Sarah about her. Oh, crap. Oops, David. Get me in trouble. Let's see. What would be best summer tubbin shrimp in Ohio? I would go with Neocaridinias. I mean, they're super hardy. Really, you could do any. Caridinias even would be all right. Because really, shrimp like cooler water. So if you do want to do shrimp out in the summer tub, make sure you keep them cool. They can go warm. I've seen them in 100-degree water. I've seen them underneath ice. Now, granted, they're not all going to live and thrive that way. But they do prefer around 65 to 78 is great in between for them. And they can tolerate big shifts and changes of temperature. It's just you got to make sure the shrimp's in the right water. So if you plan on having summer tubs out, you want to start them soft water, and you're planning on topping off with hard tap water, maybe Caridinia is what you want to keep, because the rain that falls down is going to be neutral and soft for those Caridinias. But if you're going with Neos and you plan on maybe doing water changes and topping off some mineralization, stuff like that, which isn't absolutely necessary. You can keep Neos in some softer water, but they do prefer that hardness and all that mineralization that comes from hard water, really. All right, let's see here. Man, I've got so much to do. I'm going to have to tear this jungle out. I hate to do it. It looks awesome, and it is kind of overgrowing big time. What genetics would one expect from a rusty blue shrimp and redline neos? Ooh, rusty blue shrimp are cool. I remember when I first was working on Blue Dreams, I used to get a lot of those rusty blues. Like, they almost look like an orange and blue mix, which is really, really nice combo. And then the red. So it's just what naturally comes out of the Blue Dream lines with those Blue Dream and Orange Rusty. And then they also have red genetics in them as well. So Blue Dreams back in the day are, okay, this is how Blue Dreams were before I straightened mine out. So I got me some Blue Dreams, like 10 or 20 of them, paid like stupid amount of money for them. I think like 20 bucks a piece at the time. And they bred out, let's see, Carbon Really, Red Really, Blue Red Really, Bloody Mary, chocolates, those rusty blues. What else? Oh, the carbon blues, Carbon Really blues. They used to pop all kinds of crazy things out. All kinds of crazy things. And that's why, I mean, really, for what I sell my Blue Dreams for, considering how much work I put in to straighten them out, really is a good price. Even if they are $8, which is a bit for a Neocaridina, but years and years and multiple fish tanks. Took me like 15 tanks to take all those genetics, like most of those genetics out. Once in a while, I'll get a blue velvet. So they would also throw blue velvets and some other stuff. Once in a while, I'll get like a one with a little black on it, or some with some light blue. But I usually call those out. But for the most part, like, the breeding genetics on them, it's insane how you can do all that. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, if they would put the time and effort into mixing up the shrimp and then creating these new types, there's a huge, huge space for that. Mr. Fisher, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Tip jar, thank you, Mr. Fisher. Love the beard. Looking very prime. Rose Aquatics says, is it Rose Aquatic or Rose Aquatics? Says, I have been working on the purple Neocaris shrimp and the babies look kind of purple, but mostly clear. Any advice? So with the babies, you can't always tell what they're going to be. I learned this the hard way with red Neocaridinas and cherries. When I first started working with them, I would pull what I would think was the ones that weren't going to look good, the paler babies, and then they end up being some of the most colorful shrimp. So you can't always go off what they look as a baby. Now when they get towards the juvenile stage, you can kind of tell more on what they're going to look like. But really, if you're starting to get them purple at that young of a stage, that's pretty good, because sometimes that purple color can fade in and out of a shrimp. I've seen that in greens as well, where they'll kind of turn yellow and kind of turn green and gray and all kinds of weird, like they'll actually morph colors. It's wild. LRB, do you still have that mixed shrimp tank? So I have 2 mixed shrimp tanks, right? Actually, no, I have 3. Like main mixed shrimp tanks that I mess around with. David Reed, did you take the killifish out of the fishocracy tank? So no, I mean, as much as I wanted to do the fishocracy stuff, like, I didn't have time for it. Like, I just don't have time for it. So everybody's still in here. Nobody's murdering anybody anymore, so that's good. It doesn't seem like, ever since I put in 3 killifish, ever since I put it in the 3rd, these 2 quit, like, teaming up, so it's not like red team, blue team anymore. It's like all the killies are buddies, because I got a blue Galaris in here now. Kind of hard to see, but you can see 1, 2, 3. So everybody's pretty chill. These guys are breeding like every day. Hill trouts breed like every day. They're eating all this guppy grass. They're living the good life. I need to get some babies out of them, though. Jason Wasco, thank you so much for the support and the $5 super chat. Man, that's a big old fish you're holding there. Says, is there any issue with high tannin water that is also high GH? So the only thing that's going to happen with that high tannin water with your high GH is it's just going to slowly lower that GH because the acidity of the tannins could possibly dissolve your general hardness a little bit. But it's not going to be to an effect that you're really going to have any issue. So I have a really high GH. I'll just throw logs in there. I don't care if it tannins up or whatever. And if you have softer water too with driftwood too, you're going to see more tannins because that acidity will actually break down the wood quicker, releasing more tannins opposed to if you had hard water. So if you have hard water, it can take you longer to get the tannins out of your water compared to if you have softer water where it'll pretty much pull and leach that right out. Dun, 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 dun. But thank you so much for the support and the super chat. Candy is killing it. Thank you. R says, I'm using PFR and Blue Diamond for the purple. Would you suggest Bloody Mary or Blue Dream instead? And thank you. I mean, really, if you could try both, I would do both. But Bloody Mary, Blue Dream seems like the dream team to make the purple shrimp. Valero says, what food would you recommend for getting fish to gain weight? I got a mud skipper, really skinny, and he's doing great and eating great. Okay, so for your mud skipper, you're probably going to want some live food. With mud skippers, they tend to be kind of picky. I've never actually kept one. I know Danikin Aquatics, he keeps one. Or actually, he keeps a bunch of them. I don't know what he feeds them. You can check out his channel, Danikin Aquatics, or Tazawa Tanks. If somebody in the chat knows what is good food for mud skippers, I don't know if you give them worms or beetles or what you give them. I mean, I would recommend Tetra Colored Tropical Granules, not sponsored at all, but this is what I feed everything. So even the pickiest fish will eat that, but even some wild fish like mud skippers and stuff, they won't even touch that. I think it's the red. The reason why fish really go after this too is the red. One of my friends, Oddball Aquatics, she did a test where she had all the colors down on a pin or like rod or something, and the fish ignored every color besides the red, whether it was at the top of the rod or if it was in the middle. They always went after the color red, which was really interesting. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions. Doing my best here. Scrolling 4 comments at a time. Speed reading. And thank you, Candy, for posting up Danikin's channel there. Andy M says, whoa, what percentage of hydrogen peroxide to kill BBA and hair algae? So you gotta be careful about adding it to your tank because it can also kill your beneficial bacteria, which can be a big problem. What I usually do, say if there's BB8, or well, actually, matter of fact, there is BB8 all over this aquarium here, which I don't even mess with it. Like, it doesn't really bother me. But if you did want to kill this, I'd drop the water level down real low, and then I'd put the hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle and spray it on that. Then I'd fill it back up. Yeah, you can spray it. I don't know how long that bottle will last you, but you can spray it. And yeah, I'll do it that way. And then it'll change colors, it'll get all funky. But now I just keep it natural. Usually caused by the current or lack of water change or lack of oxygen. So if you get a little more oxygen in there, start doing more frequent water changes, should take care of it. And like some of that, you could rub it off too. Like I said, it doesn't bother me. Like, you guys can tell how mature this tank is. Like, this thing's old. Look at that red dot algae. You know, you see that red dot algae and this purple kind of algae? That's maturity. It's a senior tank. My tank's a boomer. All right, they sell it in a spray bottle. Oh, I didn't know that. If it's okay, hardscape, just don't take out and soak it in H2O. Well, yeah, you don't really want to soak it in H2O, your hardscape, because you could break down your rock, depending on what it's made out of. I do need to scrape this tank. That's one of my favorites. That's the holy grail right there. Sialanite. Wapanga. Right in the middle. Alright. You think someone could make a pink Neo, preferably on hot pink side of things? Just think it'd be cool to have shrimp in my favorite color. Wouldn't know where to start other than reds, of course. So yes, it is possible, and I have actually created pinks back in the day. I have a couple old pictures of them still. But you can create pinks. And red would be the start. I think what I would try would be a snowball shrimp with like a fire red. I think that might be how I got mine. Was the snowball and fire red combo. I keep 2 cultures of microworms and 1 of banana worms. I feed all my fish. They love them. Yeah. He's good for them. And see, that's another good reason to have good beneficial bacteria, because like the microworms that don't get eaten, they will rot and die off in your aquarium. But if you have all that beneficial bacteria and all that natural goodness that Mother Nature gives us to balance these aquariums, then you don't have to worry about it. Yes, reds and snowballs, Lady Ellerby. I don't know why that's questionable. I am Sugar Hill. Do you know where I can find some pure black molly sailfin leertail? Ooh, I've heard those are hard to find these days. From some of the old timers I talked to. Said they used to be real common and now they're really hard to find, even like the chocolates and stuff. Not really sure why. Luckily, the mud skipper eats absolutely everything, and Tetra color is his favorite dry food. Really? That's hilarious. No way. Look at those cherry barbs, though. Male, female, for those that don't know. You're gonna have to give Lucas a break next week, says Lady Ellerby. Break? What's a break? No, actually, I've got to grind hard. Like all June. And the rest of this May, I've got to grind super hard to get this backyard done. Super, super hard. All right, 47 minutes left. Man, yeah, I really do got to clean this out. So many of them have been breeding here. These kind of goofy. Because these guys keep inbreeding. And this needs cleaned up. Ugh. All right. I need a seat, guys. All right, so you guys gotta look at me, but here I am. Ain't that so pretty? Ain't that so pretty? What's your thoughts on balancing the tank to where water changes are very few? So that's actually how a lot of my fish tanks are, where I don't have to do a whole lot of water changes in them. For me, it's just like the water changes are more or less for the plants. The plants absolutely love the water changes. So most of the plants will go in kind of a homeostasis period where they just kind of like chill. But once I do the water changes, boom, they grow up. And I guess if I didn't sell as many plants, I probably would not do that as much. But in my whole main fish room, I've gone, let's see, it was since November, and I've gone 8 months in the whole fish room. But I can't help but change the water. Like, water changes are still good. They're still beneficial. And I think it's better to water change the environment and just give it that freshy fresh. List them swordtails. All right. Good to hear, Bruce D. I have to do that. I don't have a whole lot to get rid of, but I do got a few. Matthew Hall says, I have some gold Medeca that were advertised as rice killifish. Will they crossbreed with other killifish like Golden Wonder? No. So just the Orzelios or something like that. I can't remember how you say it. But no, they can't crossbreed with other types like Fundulopanchax and Asemians and stuff. Question, how do you propagate a banana plant? That's a great question. Anybody know how to propagate a banana plant? I have never actually kept a banana plant. It's always been one of them plants where you like see it in the store and it just kind of sits there and gathers algae. I don't know. Has anybody had like real success with a banana plant? At the bottom of the chat, so if you got that question, that's where I'm at. Yeah, Lady LRB, she's the one that needs the break. She can't handle it. Just kidding. Wesley's doing great. Wesley is always, he's living the dream. He's living his best life. He's so lucky. But we're so lucky that he's such a good kid. Do you have experience with Panchy Panchax play ferrite, and if so, any breeding tips? So I actually got a trio of the Panchy Panchax play ferrite for sale on my website, and they breed kind of like most Funnelo Panchax do, where their egg scatters, you can throw a mop on the bottom and then they'll scatter in their eggs into it. Softer water or more neutral water is preferred, but not necessary. They can live in either. They're not real picky fish. So really just setting the mood for them. Excuse me, like any other killie. Like Funnelo Panchax type of killie. Not peat spawner. Cooley Kev says, I just put tannins in my betta tank and it cleared up within a week to crystal clear water. Any idea what happened to the tannins and why they cleared up? I'm not running any carbon in my filter. So your beneficial bacteria can actually help filter that stuff out. Like it can actually settle and filter out. So as the tannins and acidity kind of bleed it out, bacteria can actually eat off of that. I've seen it happen too, where it just kind of like settles and goes away. Banana plants, yeah. Anybody? I can grow a banana plant like the kind you eat, but never tried an aquarium. Said are awesome. I got massive runners. They played around with how deep to plant them. Interesting. Get some banana plants and make a series on it. I want to see it. Banana plants grow babies pretty easy. Just plant in the ground and wait a couple months. Interesting. So what do you plant the banana part in the ground or what? I used the one, then the leaf got to what? Big like a tiger lotus. Oh, so it is kind of, is it like a bulb plant where the leaf just grows out? It's funny, like some of these common plants I haven't really messed with as much, just because in my experience, a lot of the common plants are really weedy and not practical when it comes to aquarium hobby. And they do that for a reason, so you'll keep coming back, so they keep killing your plants. Because that's the money, that's how it goes around. Doug Ferguson says, why don't your nitrates build up? You have quite a few sparsely planted tanks that seem like they suffer without water changes. I have some without tanks with fish in them. It's that beneficial bacteria that takes care of the nitrates. If I'm not keeping it too clean in there and it has all that mold and beneficial bacteria in there like that, that helps eat up ammonia, nitrates, all kinds of stuff like that. Excess phosphates, excess waste. Streaming upstairs and downstairs. Now that's living. What is the best rack for 3 or 4 20-gallon longs? Oh, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I custom build mine. I know those gladiator racks work pretty well, but I don't know if they can, how they would do. That might be too much for you. Larry, do you still have Melanitania pygmea? I've never seen it for sale. I only have a couple left. I haven't really been actively breeding them. I should have. Once they hit mainstream, they were in the mainstream for a little while, so I quit breeding them. So if any fish, especially rainbow fish, get into the mainstream, I don't usually target breeding them, because there's so many of my rare fish that I need my time. Have you had any issues feeding the Tetra gut granules to the more herbivorous fish? If so, what other food do you recommend? Well, that's a great thing about keeping planted tanks too. So I've never had any issue with it, but for instance, this barb tank up here, they're constantly eating guppy grass and other things, or well, guppy grass, there's reishi in here, Taiwan lily as well. They're still eating on my crypt. The whole point of putting all this guppy grass in here was the point that I didn't want them to eat my crypt. So if you have a really strong herbivore type of fish, even like Lucipennis, the Synodontis, I keep guppy grass in with them. I hardly ever have to feed them because they're always eating it. You can feed them naturally with plants, or I do like the Hikari algae pellets that sink. I will sometimes supplement my Lucipennis and my shrimp with some of that just because they like it as a treat. Ooh, I gotta get this chair. Get a foot stand. All right. Red or Nautis babies, congratulations, Pamela. That's awesome. If you had to set up a brand new tank, no cycling, and had to stock it right away, how often would you do water changes? By the way, thanks for the previous answer. I guess that depends. Like personally, I'd probably try to do it every week like a good aquarium keeper, but it's not necessary. Like Wesley's tank, which I actually did a water change on yesterday or the day before. Got a little footage on that to put together to you guys, which is like months time lapse kind of video. And we only did water changes like twice in that tank out of 3 months. But it did go through some phases. It had a green water phase at one point, just too many nutrients. But now it's looking really, really, really good. Which I don't know, maybe next week I'll have that out. Will red neon blue eye rainbow breed well in summer tub of ice? Deb Hall. So I'm guessing that's like the Illuminatus one. Should just have a lot of coverage. Anything will breed well. Actually, anything will breed better outside than in a fish tank. Just because they get the bugs, they get the natural sun. Just give them good coverage, maybe play musical fish with them. And I mean, that's the way I would do it. Like, to colony breed them is really hard. Even if you have a lot of coverage, it is still hard to colony breed those fish unless you have volumes of water. If you have a small volume of water, the best thing to do is have multiple tubs that you can move them in and out of. So maybe keep them in there for 2-3 weeks or 4 tops, and then move them into another tub, and then like pretty much the next day or 3, you're gonna start seeing babies come up. And then after a few weeks, depending on what fish it is, how long it takes them to hatch. But rainbow fish, they tend to take 2 weeks to hatch and all that. So you'd be getting fry hatching up for like the next 2 weeks after you move the adults into another one. Then you could scoop out the fry, or let them hang out in there for 2-3 weeks while you got the parents in another one, then scoop out the fry, then flip them back over. And then you can get a few cycles out of them that way throughout the summer. Hopefully that helps. Ted Kopinski, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, peace, my brother. Well, peace back at you, brother. I appreciate the support, and thank you so much. Very awesome of you. Howard says, will hill stream loaches be okay in a tank with just an air stone? Yeah, I mean, as long as you keep the water volume cycled and mature. So say it's a bare bottom tank, all you have is an air stone. I mean, that's pretty much what you're kind of saying to me. It's just an air stone. If you have substrate or any kind of rock in there, it's going to help you out because they got that beneficial bacteria. Right now, I am literally keeping them in a bare bottom tank, no air stone, in like a small rock pile. And they have been in there thriving for over a year now. They'd probably be in there breeding if I didn't have these danios in there. They could even be breeding. They'd probably just get picked off if they are. So I run them without a filter. I even have a video on how I keep them without air stones or a filter. And they're super happy. They dart around. They're just like little stingray pancakes all over the place. So it's not the oxygen thing. Us humans think fish need oxygen so bad it's hilarious. Because, I mean, we need oxygen. Of course, it's like the mental thing of it all, but these fish they don't care so much. I don't even, never seen an air stone out in the wild. Now, yeah, water can get aerated a lot during a storm in the Rocky Mountains or something like that, but most waters are not like that. Okay, I gotta go slowly through this. Okay, I know this is boring compared to your regular questions, but what is the best plants for a betta tank? Guess I'll look at these guppies. Okay, slow and steady. Slow down, bro. Yeah, I went too fast. I'm not very good at slow. Can we see the half black and half red guppies? I'm wanting to order some. They're actually upstairs right now with the lights off, unfortunately. Really what you see in the picture is what they look like. Slow, slow, slow. But it's... Am I back or what? Are we doing this, YouTube? Huh? What are we doing? Oh, well, I tried to go back there. It was not having it. I did want to show you guys that cold tanks, but maybe I'll do an updated video here soon. Put that on the list of all the bazillion videos I need to do. I will write it down though, so maybe it will happen. And let's see, coal fed. There we go. All right, well, we're over the hour mark, and I've got to get these fish fed. I'll feed them a little bit with you guys. But I was going to mention what the bettas, sometimes like they do like to lay up on leaves. Oops. They do like to lay up on leaves and stuff and rest. Besides that, I mean, they're not really picky. They don't really mess with plants too much either. Fish Room Fever, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says welcome back. Well, thank you, brother. Glad to see you in here. Hope everything's good. I thought I saw another super chat I don't want to miss. Aaron Price, yes, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Aaron Price says, how does mulm lower nitrates? It needs anaerobic. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know God's work fully. Neither do scientists. If they did, they wouldn't have so many theories that they try to sell as fact and science. So, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. It's just the way it works. I can tell from just how I've been keeping these fish for so long and the difference of if I take that stuff out compared to if I don't. There's so many bacterias that we don't even know about that do so many things. Diana Connor, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says, thank you, LRB. Well, thank you, Diana. Doug Ferguson says, do you not gravel vac, which might set up an anaerobic environment? Beneficial bacteria don't consume nitrates. No, I don't gravel vac. Like, all you old schoolers with all this anaerobic crap. I don't know, it's the way she goes. Mother Nature, bro. Live it, love it, learn it. See, it's often where we make too much confusion into it. We try to make it much more complex, and that, which I understand because people want to communicate and describe things in a scientific manner. I totally understand that. But I think often we cloud it all up with too much crap that we don't understand the simplicity of God's work and the beauty, even though it is complex at the same time. You got to have the yin and yang. You got to have both sides. I'm a Gemini, so that all kind of comes natural. Bruce D, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. The awesome support. Says keep up the good work. Thanks, Lucas. Well, thank you so much, Bruce D. Thank you. You guys have been absolutely awesome to me. All right, so I'm gonna hop off here. I gotta feed the rest of these guys. I hope you all have a great weekend. I can't wait to get back into my backyard and start digging stuff up. It's so exciting. And I can't wait to share that all with you guys. So thank you all for the awesome support. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for smashing that like button. Till next time, everybody. Peace and have a great one.